You're watching 360 Rumors. My name is Mick, and today I'm going to show you how to edit 360 videos. So as you saw from that demo video, the 360 cameras can be very versatile. They can, number one, they can capture perspectives that no other camera can, such as a tiny planet view or a rabbit hole view. They can also capture two different perspectives at the same time. So for example, you saw a shot of me walking, while I could also show a shot of what I was looking at. And you can also use a 360 camera to make it look like there's an invisible flying camera following you around. Now all these effects are possible only if you know how to edit a 360 video, and that's what this video is about. I'm going to show you how to edit a 360 video so that you can achieve all the effects that you saw. And even if you've never edited a video before, and don't worry, it's a lot easier than it looks as long as you have the right techniques and the right software. Now let's learn some 360 video editing techniques. The software that I'm going to be using is called Magix Movie Edit Pro Plus 2018. What I like about it is that it's affordable, usually under $99. And you don't need a subscription or anything like that, and at the same time it's also very powerful. So in this part one of this tutorial, I'm going to show you several things. First, we'll talk about how to adjust brightness and color. We're also going to add music to our 360 video. We're going to do a fade in and fade out, and I'm going to show you how to combine multiple videos into a montage, or even add 360 photos to create a slideshow, or combine photos and videos. We're also going to talk about transitions. So let's get started. So here's the Magix screen. When you first launch Magix, you start out with this dialog box for a new project, and you should click on this drop down box and select a 360. If you're editing a 360 video, you should select one of these presets for 360, like this, or these, depending on whether you're using NTSC or PAL. Now, if you're using a 4K camera, such as the Insta361 or the Ricoh Theta V, then you want to select this one that says 3840 by 1920 at 30 FPS. If you're using an older Theta, like a Theta S, or another lower end 360 camera, you might want to choose this 1920 by 960, or if you're using the LG 360 cam, use this one that's 2560 by 1280. This is also the one you use for Insta360 Air or other 2.5K 360 cameras. So now let's use 4K, because I'm going to use Insta361. And it asks you if you want to switch view, just say keep old view for now. So when you first create a project, the first thing you want to do is import a video. So you select the video, look for it. So in this case, this one, and you can preview it without importing it by clicking on play. And then to import it, you could either drag it into your timeline, or you can click on this down arrow. So while it's right now it's creating a proxy file to make it faster to edit. So I wanted to show you the different parts of the Magix movie editing screen. On the upper left side, you have the preview of the video. On the bottom, you have the timeline. And on the right side, upper right side, you have the settings for effects. So when you're editing a 360 video in Magix, you can switch between this flat view, or you right click on the screen and click on 360, and it's going to show you a 360 view. And it helps to switch between the two modes depending on what you're doing. So the first thing we're going to learn is how to adjust the brightness. So let's say you find this too dark. So what you're going to do is select the video by clicking on this, left click, and then go to the right side, click on effects, and then you'll see there are a whole bunch of effects here. And don't worry, they're grouped into categories to make it easier to see. So you click on this drop down, you'll see they're grouped into these categories. So for brightness, it's under video effects. So we click on brightness, and if you see there's on the right side there's a slider called brightness, and the problem is it looks kind of flat, right? When you brighten it, it looks kind of flat. So instead, I like to use this special slider that Magix has called gamma. And here you can drag it and brighten it, and it doesn't look flat, right? Not only that, but it has this other slider called HDR gamma that can kind of add a little bit of clarity to the video. It depends on what your video, how you want it to look. So if you want to switch it to 360 view, you can do that to see how your viewer will see it. So let's say it's too much, so I want to just move it a little bit. And that's how to adjust brightness. You could also change just the highlights, for example, if you only want to affect the highlights, or you only want to affect the shadows, you can do that. Or if you want to affect the midtones. So here I'm using gamma. So that's how to change the brightness. And now let's learn how to change the, I'm switching back to 2D view. Let's learn how to change the color. So again, you select this video and then go to effects and then select the video effects tab and video effects group. And there's an effect called color. You click on that. And you can adjust the saturation, sliding it this way or that way, and you can also change the white balance. So you click on this dropper here, this white point, and your cursor becomes a dropper, and you click on anything that's supposed to be really white, truly white. So let's say in this case my shirt, so I click on that. Now we've adjusted the white balance to correct it. Now for artistic reasons, you may want to switch to change the color to a different settings, like you make it warmer or cooler depending on what kind of emotion you want to generate. So that's how to change colors and how to adjust the brightness. Now let's learn how to add music to our video. So you notice in the timeline there are several tracks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually up to 200 tracks, but right now we're only showing 32. And don't worry, this is a lot easier than it looks. So to import a music, we're going to go to import, and it's kind of like adding a video, but instead we're going to add music. So you click on music, and then you select the kind of music that you want. Let's say, let's say this. So let's say if that's the music that you want, you just drag it into your timeline, or you could also click on this down arrow. So now when we play it, there'll be music. So you notice that it's kind of loud. So in Magix, you can adjust the volume. So if you look at a video object here, you'll see there are two arrows. There's one on top and one on the bottom. So the one on the bottom is the one that controls the volume. In this case, we're going to change the volume for the audio object. So the audio is over here, and we're going to lower the volume, let's say this much. Or whatever volume you want. Now, if you want to adjust the volume of the main soundtrack, you can do that as well. Let's say you want to make it louder, or you want to make it softer. Either way. So that's how to add music to your 360 video. Now you could move this object along the track. So that means that it's going to start playing at this point. So at first there's no music, like here, and then once it hits this point, the music is going to start playing. So that's how to add music to your 360 video. Now let's learn how to do fade in and fade out. So you notice that a while ago we adjusted the volume using this arrow over here and over here. For the audio, it was over here. For this object, there's a handle here. Now there's another arrow over here, and that controls how visible the video will be. So you notice that when I decrease it, it's kind of like adjusting the volume, but you're not instead of adjusting volume, you're adjusting the intensity of the video. So to do a fade out, we're going to change this. So instead of simply dragging it down, we're going to put the cursor on the upper left side, and you see that it changes from a pointing finger to this diagonal arrow, and then there's this little circle over there. So you drag that, and you just drag it to the right, let's say. Now you'll see that it creates a line. So what this does is it gradually increases the opacity of the videos. So now when you play it, you can do that. By the way, you can trim out this part. Let's say this part I'm still holding the camera, I'm adjusting it. So I'm gonna trim out that part by dragging this left handle over here. And notice that the fade in was it moved along with it, so it's smart enough to figure out that that's what you wanted to do. And for the music, let's say I'm gonna align it back there, and now there's this gap here. So what we do to drag it back is select them both. I just dragged to create a box to select them both, and then I'm going to drag it there. Another way to do it is you click on this selection mode, which will affect all tracks. So right now this affects only one object. When you click on that, it only affects that object. When you click on this, it will affect all objects. So whether I click on here or here, it's going to affect all objects on all tracks. So that's how to do a fade in. And if you want to guess how to do a fade out, it's pretty similar. You go on the right side, you just drag this one. Now, can you guess how to do a fade in or fade out for music? Well, again, it's very similar. First, I'm going to expand this to make it easier for you to see. And I know it's kind of loud, but just for the sake of illustration, I'm going to increase the volume. And you see there's this same circle over there. Again, you just drag it, just like for video. And here we're going to trim it. By the way, you can zoom in or out of the timeline by clicking on this zoom selection, and you could choose the zoom level of the timeline. So let's say over there or over there, or you can press F to, like here, zoom to complete movie length. That will show you the whole movie length F. So now here I'm going to drag this all the way there so that they end at the same time, and I'm going to fade out the music, and then I'm going to decrease it again to, you know, just a little like there. Oops, sorry, let me go back to the beginning. So so if you want to see it in 360, you click on 360 view. And that's how to do a fade in or fade out in Magix. Now let's learn how to add more than one video. So let's say you have this video and you want to add another video. You simply import it and then just add it to your timeline. So here I'm going to go back to my videos. Let's say I want to add this one. So I import it and drag it to the timeline, or click on this down arrow. So before you do that, make sure that your marker here is at the point where you want to insert that video. So let's say over here, and then I'm going to insert a video, so I'm going to click on this. And it's creating a proxy file to make it faster to edit, and in a few seconds it's going to show up over there. Now if let's say we want the music to extend to this part, can you guess how to do it? That's right, you simply drag this and until they both the music ends at that point. So that's how to add a video to a 360 video. By the way, here I don't want to fade it out anymore, so I'm going to restore it back there. So now it does that. Now let's say we want to cut out that part where I'm about to hold the camera again to turn it off. Just drag that and drag this object, drag that point. So now it will play from here, and it's going to cut to this other video. So that's how to add a 360, to add more than one 360 video to create a montage. Now you can combine not just 360 videos but also photos. So for example, this photo here, this is a 360 photo. I'm going to grab that and import it. So first move the marker where we want to import it, and then click on import, and it's added to the timeline. And you can combine more than one 360 photo or video to create kind of like a slideshow. So that's how to add more than one 360 photo or video to your 360 video. Now let's learn how to create transitions. So here it just cut from one 360 video to another, and let's say we want to do kind of like a crossfade or some other transition. So to do that, we select the video where we want to add transition, and we go to templates, and then we click on transitions, basic, and then you can see what the different types of transitions are available, such as, for example, let's say flexible crossfades. Click on play, it's going to show you what it's going to look like, and if you like that, then you drag it into your video. So now there's going to be a crossfade. So so there are other effects possible, for example blinds. You can do that. And so not all transitions look nice in 360, so it's better to switch to 360 view and test it to see how it looks. Now there's another way to create a crossfade transition. So you see here, for example, we grab one object. If we drag it into another object, it automatically creates a crossfade. And you see that crossfade is actually just you know, kind of like this fade in or fade out, except that it does it for both. So for example, here you could do this, and here you could do that, but in this case it's the one video is going to be fading out while another video is going to be fading in. So that's how to create transitions in Magix Movie Edit Pro Plus. So congratulations, you've finished part 1 of this tutorial, and you now know how to adjust the brightness of a 360 photo or video. You learned, for example, how to change the color and how to combine more than one photo or video. And we also learned how to make transitions. In part 2 of this video, I'm going to show you how to do some of the effects that you saw in the demo clip like for example, where there's like a title moving like that, and then it changes from one point of view to another, or goes from one kind of tiny planet to another tiny planet. And even if you've never edited videos before, I'm going to show you how to do it. And it's very easy as long as you have the right software and techniques. And if you don't have a 360 camera yet, check out the description for a link to a guide on how to choose a 360 camera based on your needs and your budget. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in part 2 of this video.